Lily Collins has 2 films out this weekend where she gets together with someone famous. She gets Ted Bundy and J.R.R Tolkien in the same weekend. That's quite the contrast. So Tolkien, as I'm sure you can guess, is a biopic about J.R.R Tolkien, and if you don't know who J.R.R Tolkien is, really? He's only the guy who wrote Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and invented the entire mythology and languages of Middle-earth. You know, the small things. And when I heard they were making a Tolkien biopic, I was interested in it because, again, it's the guy who wrote The Lord of the Rings, so I'm instantly interested to see it. And what I liked about the film first, I like the group of friends that Tolkien hangs out with. He meets these 3 guys in school and they talk about how they want to change the world by expressing the love of their respective art forms, like literature, music, and poetry. And the dynamic between the 4 of them was actually quite good. The intellectual banter they have with each other was somewhat entertaining to watch, and the scenes where they just sat down and talking to each other about their art forms and throwing intellectual shade at each other, those were easily the best parts of the film for me. And I also liked the chemistry between Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins. They were quite a cute, endearing couple, and there were quite a few scenes where you really bought their romance. But getting right into the thick of it, this film, for me at least, was so boring. Nothing happens in this film, or at least nothing interesting happens in this film, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Either Tolkien didn't live an interesting life, or the film just didn't tell an interesting film about his life. I kind of think it's a little bit of both, to be honest, because what this film is J.R.R Tolkien in school, hanging out with his friends, hanging out with his girlfriend, trying to get his scholarship, trying to study. That's it. That is the film. The most interesting thing that ever happened in Tolkien's life, writing The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, does not happen until the very end of the film. The final shot of this film is Tolkien writing the opening line of The Hobbit. So the film's really all about where did Tolkien get his influences from? What were the things that happened in Tolkien's earlier life that would later influence him creating The Lord of the Rings and the characters and the themes for The Lord of the Rings? And if you like that kind of stuff, if you like that aspect of literature, like seeing where authors get their inspirations from, you might really dig this film. This film might be your cup of tea. But for me personally, I just didn't really care. I didn't care about anything in this film. And I said the same thing about Extremely Wicked the other day. It's like this film is hoping that you care about the people in it because it's, you know, like J.R.R Tolkien. It's like, oh, it's Tolkien, they'll just care, it doesn't matter. But I didn't care, because there's just nothing interesting happening in the film. It's just people hanging out around a school and drinking tea and talking about how they want to change the world and do this and do that. There just wasn't a sufficient amount of story to tell, and it makes me wonder, why did they make the film when they didn't have enough to work with? But the other problem is the film reverts back to the bog standard biopic conventions and contrivances. Every single narrative beat in this film you've seen in lots of other biopics like this film before. Like halfway through the film, Tolkien is struggling with getting the right grades, he's distracted from his schoolwork, so his legal guardian's like, I think it has something to do with that lady friend you're seeing. I'm afraid I cannot allow you to see her anymore. So Tolkien's like, no, I can't do that, I love her. And if that's actually what happened in Tolkien's life, then fair enough, but the way the film executes it, it just felt really cliched and really manufactured. I walked out of this film not really knowing anything new about Tolkien that I didn't already know, or at least that I didn't know for an absolute fact. It's just, there's nothing here that felt worth telling. Like, it's okay if you want to know where Tolkien got the inspiration from, but that's like 5 minutes in a Tolkien documentary, or like 2 sentences on a Wikipedia page. But a 2-hour-long film? No, I don't think so. Again, it's not without its upsides. The chemistry between Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins was good. The friendship group was really good. In fact, the friendship that forms between the 4 guys, it leads to a couple of nice parts later on towards the end of the film. I was like, okay, those are well done. But it just doesn't fully stick the landing. You can't stick the landing if you don't take off. And not only does this film not take off, it barely starts the engines. There just wasn't enough interesting story to tell, and whatever story they tried to tell, they told it in a really by-the-numbers biopic kind of way. I'm going to give Tolkien a 2 out of 5. Thanks for watching as always, guys. What did you think of Tolkien, and who's a famous person that you want to see a biopic made for? Whatever your thoughts are, tell me down there. And if you want to know my thoughts on some other stuff, click on one of these in a second, and I'll see you all next time.